Hello viewers, this is Major General Neelendra Kumar for the YouTube channel Lex Consilium Foundation and the playlist In Similie, talking to Keshav Chaturvedi here today. Keshav, as you are aware, comes with huge experience and exposure to work as a voiceover in travel photography, in translation work and in various other practical domains. But apart from all this, he is also interested towards the cause of environment, sustainability, and that is where almost a decade or two earlier I had invited when I was with the MIT Law School to speak to my students. Now in this conversation, my question to you, Keshav ji, is that where and in what manner do we as a nation lack in making a climate resilient society in India?
We have several challenges as a nation. One is poverty. We are still fighting with poverty, and we have a Hobson's choice, either to take our people out of poverty and give them at least a semblance of dignity in their daily life and economic well-being, or we go whole hog like in 1970s when the environmentalists were preaching that we should leave the entire civilization behind and go back to caves. So we have to make a balance somewhere. We have to strike a kind of a balance. So what we are lacking is we have technology, we have resources, and a large part of our population is still very organized to live a life which is less carbon intensive. What we have to do is we have to build upon it. But what we are doing is we are going in a very obtuse way to achieve that kind of carbon neutrality. We are focusing more on renewable energy, which is a good thing. One should do that. But maximum impact has to be in agriculture sector. We are proposing that we should go for Green Revolution Part 2. But Green Revolution Part 1 has played out in front of you, and despite a generation of good yield, the impact that we are witnessing today are harrowing. So now, do you want to repeat the same mistake again?
Would you like to give some illustration, example?
Sure. In Punjab, which is a poster boy of Green Revolution, there are places which are becoming completely
Are you talking about the soil?
Soil yes. is completely destroyed. One. People suffering from cancer, the number of them are rising every day. Bhatinda is a place which is called the cancer capital of Punjab. Every family is having one or two people suffering from cancer.
And the cause being?
Cause being the indiscriminate use of pesticides, insecticide, herbicides and fertilizer.
Okay.
So the input cost is rising in Punjab and output is stalling after a point of time. Now, do you want to repeat the same mistake again? The answer is no. So the government of India has been promoting for last 10 years, they have been promoting green organic farming and all that. But you need to have an overall India view. There is very little that is being done on protecting the biodiversity of the country, seed diversity of the country. So, and water resistant crops, introduction of water resistant crops, these three things are still in a very infant stage, very primitive stage, and not much focus has been given up in them.
Moving further and connected to this question is that we have seen a number of schemes, whether it is relating to tree plantation, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan or Jal Shakti Mission, where a big effort and attention is being accorded for the success for implementation of these schemes. How would you assess in a rational manner, impartially, the success and fallout of these schemes?
So, Swachh Bharat mission is a great initiative, no doubt about that. And history will bear out 100 years down the line that these 10 years were pivotal in shifting a whole society's attitude towards personal hygiene, that they stopped going in open defecation, and then they went into their own personal toilets. So that this is a great shift. The problem is it has stalled there only. People have started using their own toilets, and the matter ends there. What about the waste disposal which is accumulating in those pits? How will you do that? Part 1. Part 2, Swachh Bharat mission had a larger perspective of creating personal public hygiene, both. So personal hygiene hasn't been addressed. Public hygiene is still a very long way off. We can see our cities, they are dump yards. The second part is that from here on you have to invest more resources, because you have built the toilets are there, and that's a great achievement, no doubt about that. Now you have to shift the focus on waste disposal and making people own up their personal hygiene and the public hygiene. That is part 1. Part 2, Jal Shakti mission. Again, a brilliant concept, and a lot of work is being done. Like they have been reviving ponds and everything. Now, still catching the rain, we have 8,000 billion cubic meter of rain every year, and we are able to save only 7% of it. And those 7% are saved in our old tanks, old man-made ponds and everything.
Yes.
Right now, that level of infrastructure is not being
yet to be created. And what would you talk about, say, tree plantation?
Tree plantation is again a very tricky business. What is happening is people are planting all sorts of trees, and many of them, like you take a case of Noida. Noida has been planting ornamental trees, which has absolute no value to biodiversity. It looks green, but it's called barren green because it is not used by the local fauna, the birds, and they don't make their nest in those trees. People don't get anything out of it. And when you ask people from the horticulture department, why aren't you planting fruit trees?
Yes.
Or local varieties of flowers? So for fruit, they say people will eat fruits. That is the idea. People will eat fruits. And this was the wisdom of our ages and sages both, that since the time immemorial, a good king was the one who would always plant fruit trees along the roads. He would also create upavan within a urban area, and those upavan would always have fruit trees.
So you mean to say that we as a nation, we lack such basic wisdom?
We have somehow disconnected from our wisdom of past in last 100-150 years. You know, if you go to Jaipur was restricted to Amer Fort. Then Jai Singh, or I think Ganga, one of the two, they created Mansagar Lake. They also created 2 lakes in the city, and they created water tank at Nahargarh Fort. After creating so much of water, then they asked people in their state to come and live near Amer,
then
and they called it
developed.
and then they called that city Jaipur. Now for 50,000 people, they created water resources for 5 lakh people. Today, the same city has 40 lakh people.
So we are outgrown. We have outgrown, and somehow that long range planning
is not there.
Yes.
Everyone is into 5-year plan, and 5-year plan do not yield any results.
So this is very interesting, particularly from the aspects of these issues and matters concerning environment. Stay with us. This conversation with Keshav Chaturvedi will continue.